Welcome back to Idiots with Pipes. I'm Scott.
And I'm Jeremiah. Today we are going to celebrate our 100 subscriber milestone by opening up that bottle of Kentucky Owl. Kentucky Owl, ready to go. All we need is the camera guy to... Oh, hey!
Hey, all right.
Thanks again for joining us. We are going to try out this Kentucky Owl.
Which is a great scotch.
Mostly a better bourbon, a little bit of scotch, just to appease the scotch guys.
Neither one of us know because this is our first try.
That's right. Never had it before, so excited for this one. Scott, my good man, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's good.
Surprisingly, it tastes very bourbony.
It does.
Is that a word, bourbony?
Bourbony, but it's a hint of smoke.
Bourbon-esque.
There is scotch in there.
Like maybe after.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised because I expected the scotch, the peatiness of the scotch to really like take over the bourbon, honestly.
Yeah. This is like a smoky bourbon. This is good.
It is good. It's sweet.
It is sweeter. A little more burn than my soft palate.
That's just weakness leaving your body. You'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so what are you smelling there, Scott? What are you getting on the nose, my friend?
There's a hint of vanilla.
There's definitely vanilla. It's pretty strong, actually. A little more than a hint, but, you know, no big deal.
What are you tasting? I'm tasting burn. Definitely catch some alcohol in there. What are you? What you thinking?
I'm getting a little vanilla, a little caramel. It's a subtle finish, like a subtle peaty finish on the scotch side. It's almost like if I didn't know this was a collaboration between scotch and bourbon, I would say it's just bourbon. Like you almost can't taste the scotch. So
I'd be like, oh, this is a nice smoky bourbon.
Yeah.
I agree.
Retail on this thing is like 120, 140, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I'd pay that for it. And so it's like John was like, hey, let me show you how to make some bourbon. And Maureen over there was just like, hey, let's put some, let's use a little smoked peat moss. And John's like, hey, hang on, we'll get to that in a little bit. You know, we'll get to that. And
here's an eyedropper. Put how much scotch you need.
They never really got to it.
No.
That's what it seems like. It really seems like they just, it's a good bourbon.
So pairing with this bourbon that has a hint of scotch.
Very small hint.
We have a smaller tobacconist.
Tobacconist.
Yep, that word. Strauss Tobacconist. We trying their number 88 today. And I say trying it because I've had it. Jeremiah hasn't, so we're going to call it a trying. But it's good. It's got some Cavendish, Burley, Virginia. But also has a little bit of Latakia in it.
Like a little Latakia or a Latakia? A Latakia or a little Kia?
Little lot.
A lot of Latakia?
A lot of little.
A little Latakia.
Little Latakia.
What?
Not a Latakia. It's a little Kia.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we're going to get our pipes packed. And then we'll smoke some of this, pair it with our bourbon that's not really scotch. So I actually got turned on to Strauss because they release a Halloween blend every year that I've heard a lot of people rave about. So when I was getting it this past Halloween, I was like, you know what?
Not again, dude.
And again, as I said in the last video, one day Jeremiah will be able to afford a real lighter.
I mean, at this point, I almost feel like a Bic lighter would be better.
It won't
This is the
be
butane
worse.
insert, too. I spent extra money on this thing. Look at that. That quick before I blow this out.
Oh, so it came back to me. Sleepy Hollow, I believe, is the blend they release
Ah, I like that.
every year. And it is definitely worth getting. It's good. I do recommend that to Strauss Tobacconist Sleepy Hollow. And when it gets closer to Halloween, we'll pull that out of the cellar and try some of that. It does have the Burley, Virginia, and Cavendish, which is like 99% of most aromatics. Don't quote me on the percentage there. But it's got a little bit of Kia. It's got a little Kia in it for some good taste. It's probably got more smoky flavor than that Scotch bourbon.
Yeah, I would say there's more peat in this than that bourbon Scotch.
And not to completely talk down Kentucky Owl, it is good.
Yeah, I mean it's a good bourbon. I would say I would be okay paying like in the $40 maybe $50 range for it, but
It's fair.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'd go much higher than that.
So I just got back this past weekend from Resaca, Georgia.
Okay.
There was a Civil War reenactment up there.
Oh, nice.
Which I do participate in, have been for 22 years I've been doing this.
Wow. You could retire from Civil War reenacting. You've been
I
doing it
could
for so long.
I could retire from pretending to be a soldier.
Yeah.
What do I get VA benefits?
Probably not.
Okay, well, all right. But there was so took me and another guy rode up there, had a lot of fun. It was good, but we were reminiscing. So the guy that went with me, we've been reenacting together for, I think he's been doing it about 20 years. I actually got him into it. But we nicknamed him Flash, and it's not because he's fast. So going back a few years back, so one thing we do is when you prepare for these Civil War reenactments, you have to have, bullets, so to speak, rounds to shoot, which is just black powder in a piece of paper. Well, we made a bunch of them for one reenactment years and years ago, put them in this big tube, and the way he rolled his is a lot of the powder kind of came out of the paper, and it filled up in the bottom of this tube. Well, as we had a couple hundred rounds in there, so we used them in a couple reenactments. Well, we're getting towards the end of this big, I said tube, it's a big old tub. We get to this one reenactment, it's kind of a small one, so we're kind of, just messing around, and he brings this big tub out there, and it's all this black powder in the bottom of it. So what do a couple 20-ish-year-olds do with a bunch of just black powder that you are basically going to throw away? And you're living, in the woods with a campfire?
Set it on fire.
We're going to set it on fire, and we're both firemen. We've seen enough Western movies, and when you light the black powder, the little line, it goes shh. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to recreate our own, and we got to let it go right to the fire. So we do pour out a nice, probably close to a 3 or 4 foot line. We had a lot of black powder in the bottom of this, and we didn't make we made a long enough line, maybe 2 feet. I'm exaggerating. Fish story. So we had this nice line of black powder, and looking at the movies, you light it, cool little flame.
It's not that slow.
Or that small. So we make this line of fire, or line of black powder, grab a little twig that's lit on fire, and Flash decides to stand right over said line of black powder to light it. He's a good, 3 feet away for a little 2-inch flame we see in the movies. Well, guess what? Black powder, when lit, is not a cute little flame. It's about a 6-foot high flame, and this went to completely engulfed in flames and smoke. Singed his eyebrows, burn off some of his eyelids, singed his beard really well, curled up some of the front of his hair. He was fine, no scarring, but we've had a good laugh about that ever since.
This is exactly why you don't get VA benefits, because the citizens of this country don't want to pay their tax dollars for you to set each other on fire.
He set himself on fire. That should account for something.
No.
Maybe one day we'll get Flash on the show. He might be here quickly.
Like,
So, final thoughts. Strauss Tobacconist number 88.
I like it. I really do. I can't pick out like any one tobacco.
It is, and it's a
Like
very
go ahead.
it's very well blended.
I was gonna say it's a good blend. It's a little like, get like a little like sweet but kind of salty, like a chocolate and
Yeah.
peanut sort of thing, just a little bit,
I think the chocolate's probably from the Burley, if I read things right.
Very mild chocolate, like very
Yeah,
mild.
just a
I
hint.
think I attribute that to the sweetness, but it's maybe more like caramel and some sort of nut, peanut, something. I don't know.
With just a hint of smoke. A lot of Kia. Just a hint.
It is
Like
very mild, yeah. It's good though. It really is. I really like this. Definitely add that to my list. What about you, Scott? What are your final thoughts on the Kentucky Owl?
So, being more of a Scotch guy, I was hoping for a little more smokiness, a little more peatiness, a little more scotchiness.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's good.
Yeah, it's just not.
I don't think I would pay that much for that bottle again.
And I agree. And I like bourbon. I like Scotch as well. But I was hoping for like a blend of the two, and I really don't think we got it, man. I really don't.
No.
It's more just a bourbon. Like, and that hint of Scotch at the end is so minor. Like there's not really any peat. It's just a hint of smoke really at the end. I mean, I'm glad we got to try it. Now we know, and now you know.
And thank you for making it happen.
Yeah, and now you know. There's not really much Scotch in there.
Take it for what it is. What do we know? We're just idiots with pipes.
That we are. So thanks again for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, as we barely have any friends as it is.
Please join us next time as we will talk about one of our other favorite things while we pair it with one of our top favorite tobaccos.
I'm excited about this one.